range, quartiles, and interquartile range. So when we're looking at a set of data, there's different measurements that we can use to describe aspects of that data, things about it. And the range and the quartiles and the interquartile range are looking at how spread out a particular set of data is. So the range defines how spread out the data is. So this data here, the 17 people at an internet cafe, ranges from about 38 down to about 7. So that's quite a wide range of people, whereas we might expect a smaller range of ages, maybe somewhere like a gym. We get the range by doing the highest score minus the lowest score. Now the median we already know, it's the middle score. But something we haven't mentioned, which is pretty obvious once you say it, is that it splits the data into two groups, the top and the bottom half. And we know how to find the median, but we'll just rewrite it. You put your data in order and you get the middle score. If, of course, you've got an even number of data points, you find the average of the two middle scores. Now the quartiles are actually pretty like the median, but instead of splitting the data into two groups, quarter means they split the data into 4 groups. And what I might do is I'll actually show you how to find the quartiles, and then we'll put in the steps and how to get the interquartile range, because it's a bit tricky, but we'll work through it. So when we're finding the quartiles, we have to start by finding the median. So we have to start by putting the data in order, from smallest to largest. So I've got the 17 people in an internet cafe. Remember, it's a good idea as you work your way along to cross off the scores as you put them down, so that if you get distracted, you know where you're up to. So you keep scanning along, making sure you're not missing anybody out. And if you keep crossing them off as you go, then you don't get any problems happening. So where are we up to? We're 23. I think I've got 3 27-year-olds. One there, one there, one there. So it does help to be a little bit organised about this. What have we got next? 34. And the other check that you can of course do is they said there were 17 people. So quickly check 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. So that says we got the right number of people. Put your data in order. Now it's easy to find the range, which is of course highest score minus lowest score. So 38 minus 7 is a range of 31. That means there's 31 years between the oldest and the youngest person there. Now, to find the quartiles, which are going to split the data up into 4 equal parts, which is a bit hard to do just with my fingers, we start by finding the median, because that will split it into the bottom half and the top half. And then to split it into 4 groups, we're going to split it again, here and about here. And so we have to start by splitting it in half before we can split it in quarters. So to get the median, there's a couple of ways. We can just count our way in. Or we can say, look, I know there's 17 people. Halfway will be half a person up from half of that, which sounds a bit confusing. But half of 17 would get you 8.5. Half again up means I want the 9th score. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That 27 there is the median. Or we could have just counted in with our fingers and get rid of an outside pair at a time until we got to that median there, which is 27. Now, this is why I wanted to find the median first before we found the quartiles. Because the quartiles are 3 different points in the data, because there's going to be one here, one here, one here, and you'll see that splits it into 4 separate groups of the data, so they're quartiles. So the median is the middle quartile. The first quartile is the bottom one, the third quartile is the top one, so the median is actually Q2, quartile 2. To find the quartiles, we first find the median, which is Q2, and then for the bottom half of the data, we find the median just of that bottom half. So if I hid the median itself and the top half, I'm just finding the median of this bottom half. Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 scores, which says there's an even number of scores, so the median is going to be halfway between 13 and 15. So we find the average of 13 and 15, and that's nice and easy because that's 14, halfway between 13 and 15, and that's Q1, just here between 13 and 15. And you've probably worked out how we're going to find Q3, the top quartile, or I'll label the median, this is Q2. We'll get the top quartile by covering up the median and the bottom half and just finding the median of the top half of the data. Again, it's going to be halfway between the 2 middle scores, 33 plus 34, divided by 2, and you can use your calculator if you need to. 33 plus 34, oops, hit enter to get that answer, then divide by 2, and of course that's 33 and a half, 33.5. So that's how you find the quartiles, and let's pop that in between 33 and 34. And you can see that there's 4 data points left between each of those quartiles. When one of the numbers itself gets circled, because it's the median or a quartile, we don't count that, but that's 4, 4, 4, and 4. So we've split the data into 4 equal sets. Those are the quartiles. So our steps to find the quartiles were, first up, find the median, and that's Q2. Then find the median of the bottom half of the data, that's Q1, and find the median of the top half, and that's Q3. So that's how to find the quartiles, and it's good to mark them on your set of data. Now the interquartile range is the range but just between Q1 and Q3, and it's how spread out the middle half of your data is. So it's Q3 minus, I'll write minus Q1. So interquartile range, Q3 minus Q1, so that's 33.5, take away 14. That's 19.5. And that says if we're just looking at the middle half of the data, how spread out is that middle half? And it's quite useful in case we had some really big outliers for just saying, hey, what's the middle half looking like without all those outliers? So that is range quartiles and interquartile range.